There we go. Call this meeting to order. Determine there's a quorum present. Commissioner Wardlaw, Commissioner Vasquez, Commissioner Nettleton, Commissioner Flores, and myself. We have a quorum. If y'all will please rise for the pledge of allegiance. Commissioner Vasquez, if you would do us the honor, please, sir.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay, thank you, please. One took his paper. We'll need to get more paper. All right, approving amending minutes. Second. A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Citizens' comments, Ms. Vallejo, you're up first.
Good morning, General and Commissioners. It is an egregious act to continue to allow taxpayers to build in Valverde County areas that have become problematic because of the Torture Plains, the possible construction of a new international bridge, and the possible annexation of the city of Del Rio. Judge and Commissioners, it is your responsibility to watch over the total property that has produced for you much revenue throughout the years. You should not turn a deaf ear or a blind eye to those egregious problems. You must take the bull by the horns and instill transparency instead of leading the blind down the path of the raging bull. Taxpayers have made massive investments in property, homes, and businesses. You have not provided for your taxpayers as well as you should. You have taken taxpayers' money and used it to improve minor things because they seem to show progress. However, instead of playground equipment, why not pay some of the county roads? Why not fix some of the drainage flood problem areas? Why not run basic utilities into some of those areas? Each one of you holds a vast array of power. Use it for the benefit of those you represent. Come clean and be transparent to taxpayers who have put their trust in you. Taxpayers who continue to pay taxes year after year without questioning your tax rate, your collection practices, your use or misuse of money because they are too busy making a living and taking care of their families. You have wasted taxpayers' money in jury mail-outs when you know those who live outside the county will not be present for jury duty unless you pay for their gas, hotel, and meals. You have misrepresented those who paid their taxes early by charging them late fees when taxes were fully paid. You have even charged dead people taxes. You have misrepresented those who were paying their taxes on payment plans by not assessing figures correctly. You have failed to insist on purging and correcting election rolls. You have failed your taxpayers by not representing those who lost their properties to taxes because they could no longer pay because they were on a set income or they became ill. You have continued to auction and collect whatever you can from others to make up for what you lost by some. And yet, your tax rate will impact many more this year. You have seen how instead of building at county properties or seeking building permits, many have created RV residences in many areas of the county. Some of these areas are turning into a problem because of water and sewer issues. Yet, you have failed to take interest in trying to fix these problems or create a solution that will benefit those who have made adequate investments and built homes near these problem areas. And as the county continues to grow and expand towards the south side, you failed taxpayers by not informing them of the contractual agreements you have entered into with the city of Del Rio and Mexico about the possible international agreement of 2015. You have muddied the waters by referring to it only as Port of Plains. Please, Judge Owens and Commissioners, please make the agreement and all pertinent documents and maps available to those whose homes are endangered by that agreement. Please attend the Port of Plains September meeting in Eagle Pass and be our voice in the desert. We need you. And as you declare your tax rate and continue to collect our taxes, please be cognizant of those who are on set incomes and may not be able to stay in their homes for another year, and of those who stand to lose their homes to agreements made by you and not disseminated to taxpayers affected. You've only had one meeting in 2022 over those agreements. Anything that affects property owners and taxpayers of Val Verde County should not be conducted behind closed doors. Taxpayers have a right to know most everything. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Baker, you were up next, but if you want, because it's on the Madison group, we will have a.
It's up to you, Judge. I can do it now.
If you don't mind.
Yeah?
If you don't mind to do it during the budget process, if you can wait.
Yes,
That work?
I can. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Ms. Gutierrez?
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. I'm here today on behalf of the Falcon Art Center Foundation. I am Carmen Gutierrez, Treasurer, and first of all, I'd like to thank you all for the investment that you made in the children, the kids of Val Verde County. We received some funding last year for the construction of the First Kids Art Gallery, and because of high building costs, we had to also solicit other monies. So I'm here to announce that we began construction last week, and I'd like to invite all of you, anytime you're in the area, to please stop by the facility that we're building right now, constructing on Chapoy Street. And another thing that I wanted to mention is that back in March, we had the Miami University group, Diane Fellows, the professor and art director, to come down with 13 people. And the length of stay, and this is from Polo del Rio de Ramada Inn, was $3,635.15. 6 rooms, one of them was 4 nights, and all others were for 5 nights. So it does help with the tech heads and beds, because that particular project was Project Venice. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but it was in collaboration with the University of Miami. And what happened is that this art exhibition about borders and the indigenous people was presented in Venice, Italy. The Falcon Art Center Foundation was the only gallery represented by the state of Texas at that exhibition in Italy. So I do want to thank you for your support. Again, encourage you to stop by, and we'll have something official later on. But if you want to see how it's coming along, you're more than welcome. Thank you again. On behalf of the Falcon Art Center Foundation, Elizabeth Hodges, President, CEO Adrian J. Falcon.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Henderson?
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm not going to talk to you that much about the International Bridge until we have reasons to believe otherwise. I'm going to kind of hold you gentlemen to your word that you'll continue to support us and everything like you have been doing. What I would like to talk to you about is the tax rate proposal. So as y'all consider that tax rate proposal for Val Verde County citizens today, please keep in mind the appraisal district for the past 2 years has been increasing home values tremendously, okay? Me personally, my home has gone over $100,000 in the last 2 years, and that's with me fighting it each year. So this year, I'm still waiting to fight it. I'm still waiting to fight the 10% that they're not supposed to increase over, how they continue to do that as well. So keep that in mind, even though y'all claim, well, there hasn't been a tax increase, the appraisal district has been increasing the values of residential homes. The city just approved an 18% increase back in June of all homes and residents of Del Rio. So like I said, mine's gone over $100,000 in the last 2 years. Home market is on the decline. So I don't see why these huge increases are taking place, but that affects your total over amount of dollars that you're paying each year. So mine has increased about $1,500 in taxes in the last 2 years, even though y'all said there's been no tax increase. So if you continue to do this on top of what the appraisal's already doing, it's just going to continue to rise. So please consider that when you look at this tax proposal. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. You want to come on up?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
If you'll give me your paper, and that
Yes,
way
sir.
you can state your name, and then we'll get started, if you don't mind. Mark, you'll go ahead and item 27.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
So my name is Mark Paradise. I'm a resident of the county. A couple of things. I'd actually like to piggyback a little bit on Mr. Henderson with the taxes. Yes, valuations are going up. It's being reflected on the rolls, but salaries are not in conjunction with that. Of course, that's a targeted inflation. Not something you can control. That's controlled at a much higher level, Federal Reserve. So I understand the math of what's going on, but understand the pocketbook problem that's happening in conjunction with that. So enough about that. The bridge is something that we've had some contention with. I recognize that. I'm continuing to study up on that. I don't have a prepared statement. I probably should do that in the future. But what I would like is, in conjunction with that, for this council to consider please shifting these meetings into the evening time frame so that citizens can actually become a part of this. It is very difficult for us to remove ourselves from a work day to come and kind of get an idea of what's going on within the council here for the county. So I would please ask to shift to an evening meeting as we do these things so that we can have some participation. So, thank you.
Thank you. Just give me a minute. You want to come on?
No, here's one.
You're up. Go ahead.
I'm Jordan Ediger. How's everyone doing? Thanks for having me today, County Commissioners. First, I just would like to say again, we have 1,133 signatures on this petition, okay, and we'll be filing it into public record soon. I just want to reiterate that the great thing about capitalism and business is it's going to grow and it takes care of itself. That's primarily why we have civic leaders, to stand up for the residents, the folks who can't stand up for themselves against business that's going to occur. And so I just ask that, please, you are the ones who represent all the homeowners out there in the county. Business is going to take care of itself. You don't really need to do a whole lot. It's going to keep on going. The only protection that homeowners have is, in fact, you. You are our protection to let business go in a way that doesn't adversely affect landowners out in the county. We elected you for that. So I just ask that you please consider that, especially today when we start talking about the Second International Bridge, that you are the ones standing between big business and your constituents, the landowners out in the county. So I just thank you for what you do, and I just please ask that, remind you that there is a large force of folks, every single signature in here, you represent. So that's all I have.
Appreciate it. Thank you. I'm going to go to judges' comments real quick to answer a couple of these. Tax rate, we have proposed the same tax rate that we had last year. And naturally, as members of the court, we all realize that we are citizens and all our values have gone up. So I don't think any of us has ever said that our tax rate is, the tax rate has stayed the same. Our values do go up. Your taxes go up because the values go up, not because of the tax rate that we continue to keep. this court, we came in as a full court, in 2019. And since then, we have lowered the tax rate, 2 cents from when, since before we came in. Okay, so it doesn't sound like much, but overall, in the day that we live today, it's about $700,000 that we cut out of our budget. And that's every year, that's a minimum of that amount every year from here on, because of the 2 cents. Yeah, I just looked at it. Thank you. So, I got up, and sorry that I got up while you were talking, but I was wanting to know when we were gonna present the dates and the times to the court for approval. That'll hopefully be, I think the schedule looks like it'll be in 2 weeks. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the time and the schedule, the dates and the times for the meetings to be approved will be up in next Commissioner's Court, which is in 2 weeks. Okay. Item 7, tax rate hearing. The tax rate hearing Tuesday, August 29th, 2023 at 9:15. Right now, the tax rate hearing is open to anybody that would like to come and speak for or against the tax rate, or has any comments at all pertaining to the tax rate. I know that we've already had a couple of people address that, but if y'all want to come up again in case y'all missed something, this would be the time. Don't need to sign a sheet, but y'all could come up and speak if needed.
Good morning. You all know who I am, Carmen Gutierrez, and I would like to speak against increasing the tax rate. As Ms. B. Vallejo eloquently said, you know, we are already starting to see a lot of our older citizens struggle with having to pay these taxes. And their children are struggling to help them pay their taxes. So please consider, you know, those individuals that are on fixed incomes. And as the other gentleman said, you know, the valuations have increased. So whether you increase or even decrease a little bit, you're still going to get a good little windfall because of the amount of the valuations. I also protested my taxes, and I'm still pending my hearing and with the board, but I don't understand because I did get my little part that says you can go online now and check to see what it is. So I don't know. I don't know how all this works. And if I don't know, and I have an MBA, you can imagine other individual citizens that struggle to get through all this paperwork. And in fact, I know Ms. B. Vallejo and myself helped some of these individuals file the documents just to appeal their property taxes. So please consider those individuals such as myself and everybody in this community and residents, especially of Valverde County, that need your help. You are our voice, so please use it. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else?
Just had a quick question, Judge.
No problem.
Y'all just spoke about decreasing the tax increase by a couple dollars or something like
We
that.
had,
in the last couple years.
in the last 4 years and change, we've actually lowered the tax rate because we were 0.52 and change.
And then you
now we're
said-
0.4977.
That decreased your budget.
It did a little bit.
Let me ask you a question. Has your budget ever decreased though, physically? Because as the tax rate went down, prices went up. So you're actually getting more. I know in the last 2 years it's been stagnant, but your appraisals have gone extremely high, which brings more money into your budget. So your budget continues to grow even with the tax staying the same. And like I said before, $4 a gallon diesel, inflation through the roof, people are feeling it right now. And I think I've felt the last tax increase for the last 2 years, even though I know last year I specifically remember you saying we're not increasing taxes, and I was like, oh, thank God. Then I get my tax bill, it's like, holy smoke.
Yeah, I should have been
So-
clear because we're not increasing the tax rate.
So I know-
But your taxes will go up. Yes.
It continues to go up, and I can show you 17 years of living in that home where I have never received an equal tax or below. It's always increased every year. Unfortunately, the last 2 years, it's increased. At least a quarter of my tax has increased. So
What is the highest percentage of your tax?
25% last year.
School, county?
Oh, I'm not sure which one's the highest percent. I just wanted to point out that your budget's not decreasing. As the appraisals go up, y'all's budget's going up.
I believe
So,
there is on the ballot or
Thank you.
something to.
No, thank you, sir.
use, or increase homestead exemptions this year.
I believe so.
Is it on the ballot or is it? Yes. Yeah, so if y'all show up in November and vote, there is a, deal on the ballot that will increase the homestead exemption, so you won't be able to get, instead of the current, it goes up to 100,000 in your exemptions, so that will give you quite a large reduction in school taxes when you look at the overall. Unfortunately, the county collects for everybody, so it looks like when you get a county bill, county taxes are completely outrageous, but we collect for the school, the city, the hospital district, and for ourselves, so you have to kind of take that apart and look at the percentage of what is actually the county's portion and what is the school's portion. But if y'all do go out and vote and get involved in that, and it does pass, you're going to get a substantial homestead exemption that will reduce your taxes substantially in November. So I would suggest y'all do show up and vote.
I hate to disagree with you, but we will not see a difference because of the valuation of property taxes. Everyone's appraisal went up at least 100%. There is no reason for every piece of property, even if it's a tiny one, to be worth $30,000. A fixed rate for everyone. And they didn't touch the county properties. They didn't touch acreage, when acreage is $4,000 an acre. And crop acres are 2,000 something. It's ridiculous that we have to pay $30,000 per lot, no matter the size, no matter the location. And you all didn't say anything. You all appointed those people who sit there and make those decisions. And you all better start thinking about not appointing politicians, because that's all we have. We had no voice in the review board, none whatsoever. People went out there to pour their hearts out, and nobody cared. Everyone looked the other way. And what did they do? They didn't make a single comment. They just simply said, we go along with the appraisal district. We don't have a voice. We've lost our voice. But we will have a voice in November. And you better stop thinking about not appointing politicians to those appraisal boards anymore. We want regular citizens in there. That's why those counties that have 75,000 or more people, they're being elected. They're allowed to elect 3. We're still waiting. It's ridiculous. And that 100,000 is not going to help us much at all. It's going to ruin us because we don't know what those bills hold. And we don't know what their intentions are. And I don't recommend that anyone vote for that. Thank you.
Okay, is there anybody else? Are we good? Going once? No good? All right. We went into a meeting at 9:16, a hearing. It is 9:23. Tax rate hearing closed. I'm going to move on because our next one is scheduled at 9:30. I'm going to go ahead and move on to item 13, approving monthly reports from elected officials.
Second.
Motion, Commissioner Flores. Second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 14, approving bills for payment. I have a motion, Commissioner Flores. Second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 15, discussion possible action approve the auditor's report. I have a motion, Commissioner Middleton, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 16, discussion possible action on the following budget adjustments. A, information technology, $2,580 from travel and training to auto expense. I have a motion, Commissioner Flores. Second, Commissioner Middleton. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. B, District Attorney's Office, transfer $8,167.77 from travel and training to office supply. Transfer $1,050 from consultants to vehicle maintenance. transfer $3,150 from consultants.
Second.
Okay. Motion Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 17, discussion possible action on the following. Certification of revenue, Gov Deals, with a total of $16,478.43. Precinct 4 had $15,541.88, and Parks had $936.55.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Wardlaw. These funds to be put in the Precinct 4 and Parks.
Parks, yes, sir.
Okay. Have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. B, increase of jury rate, $2 to $60 in total for those impaneled beginning September 1st, 2023 due to House Bill 3474 of the 88 legislature. On these funds right here, we spoke with Matt. There's enough funds to cover us through the end of the year for this. Okay. When I spoke with him the last time, there was enough funds to cover this through the end of the year. So if that is different or something comes up because we're sitting a bigger jury pool, then we can bring it back in 2 weeks.
This is mandated, Judge?
It's mandated.
Okay. Those unfunded mandates. Those unfunded mandates.
Yeah.
Judge, it's increasing by $2 only.
Okay.
Yeah, going up to 60, it was 58.
Yeah. Well, it says your juror paid by $2 and then go to $60. Yeah. But there is, in visiting with Matt, there is enough funds to cover it. And the way it looked with the amount of money that we have already set up in the budget, they were going to run numbers compared to what we've done with the jurors this year and go by percentage as to whether or not they would be covered. So, motion to approve by Commissioner Flores. Who seconded? Somebody seconded?
I approve the judge.
Okay.
I second the motion.
Commissioner, did you make the motion?
Yes, but I said it.
No, we're gonna. Commissioner Vasquez made the motion. Commissioner Flores seconded. Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. 18, I did not see anything. 18, no action needed. We'll run through a couple of these, and then we'll do the hearing, and then we'll go to the, yeah. 19, discussion possible action approving septic system intake application 897 Benita San Felipe Parish, Colonia. This money had already been set aside, and these projects moved. Second. A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 20, discussion possible action approving septic tank system approved. Thank you. Motion, Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 21, discussion possible action approving septic system intake application 400 Light Tree.
Second.
Motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 22, discussion possible action to ratify the assurance related to state funds. I had to sign a form, and it's in your package on Friday, in order to be current.
Motion to approve.
Second, Judge.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. I don't know how long the rest of the items are gonna take to do, so, and I don't wanna miss the hearing for 9:30. So if y'all will just, give us a couple of minutes or give us a minute, and then we'll go into that way we're not caught halfway in the bar. Like we're gonna get a glass of water or go to the restroom, whatever. We're just gonna kill time for a little bit. Yes. Yes, I do.
Need to,
You can have it.
just research, just have to just make sure we make that. So we get the that properly still.
Mine just switched. Keep going. Item 9, a budget hearing. This gives y'all an opportunity. We filed a budget 2 weeks ago, with the county clerk's office, and we're gonna get started. Budget hearing, anybody that would like to come up and speak on what y'all believe, we need to put in the budget, take out of the budget, this would give y'all an opportunity to do that. I know we've already talked about the tax rate, we've touched on that, but is there anybody else that would like to come up and speak on the actual budget itself? Nobody at all. I will tell you that when we go through this, the next item is to close the budget, and then we'll begin the budget workshop that we're gonna take care of in just a minute. Nobody? Okay. We're gonna close the, sorry? Yeah, come on now. I kept looking at you.
Sorry. Judge Jordan Edgar, we just noticed a lot of us are wondering where to find that.
Budget?
Yeah.
You can go, we can get you a copy if you'll go to the county clerk's office. That work?
Great.
And the county clerk's office is in the older building, where you do your marriage license and deeds.
The city council meetings typically show the minutes plus all of the additional information on their minutes, and so it's just, anyway, so not familiar with it.
Well, this would be,
Appreciate it.
we can put it on there. That work? Thank you for bringing it up. I really appreciate it. And Ram, if you're listening, our IT guy, no pressure. Is there anybody else? Okay. It's 9:31. We're going to close the budget hearing. We're going to skip. We're going to go to item 30. Discussion possible action on recognizing September as Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month. You want to come up? They're going to read the resolution.
Jesus Christ.
Proclamation. Whereas year after year, pediatric cancer interrupts the childhood and seriously limits the potential of thousands of our youth, and whereas pediatric cancer remains the leading cause of disease-related death for children, and whereas many childhood cancers are considered curable, but survival may come at a price, and whereas about 1 in 500 young adults is a childhood cancer survivor, and nearly 2/3 of the survivors later experience significant and chronic health conditions. And whereas research for childhood cancer makes a difference, and your support matters to save the lives of children today and keep them healthy in the future. And whereas Brooks Blossoming Hope for Childhood Cancer Foundation promotes awareness for childhood cancer and helps create a level of empowerment within their community to bring forth changes for the future of children fighting, surviving, and those yet to be diagnosed with pediatric cancers. And whereas during National Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, our nation comes together to remember all those whose lives were cut short by pediatric cancer, to recognize the loved ones who know too well the pain it causes, and to support every child and every family battling cancer each day. Now, therefore, Valverde County Commissioners Court does hereby proclaim the month of September 2023 as Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month in Valverde County, passed and signed this 29th day of August, 2023.
Motion to approve.
Second. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton. Second, Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Y'all want to say something? What do you got for us? Well, you got one. Well, I'll be back. I appreciate it. This is for me, not for y'all. No pressure.
Now you have to.
I like that dress. Thank you.
Can we get a picture? You don't mind? Okay. Can we get a picture with you? You don't mind? Can we? Cool. You don't know? Well, I'm gonna take it, all right? If it's not, you come get it back. I'll stand up front,
Yeah, come, move up about one step there.
Okay, just a little bit.
Means that I don't come.
Don't start you with me crying.
On the count of three. 1, 2, 3. One more. You wanna come in here?
You got it? Really? You done?
Got it.
Thank you.
I see the Jessica.
Thank you. You look really pretty.
I've seen this book.
I think you ought to let her be judge for the rest of the meeting.
Does she want to?
Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you.
Have your share.
Thank
Thank y'all. If they were leaving, I was gonna say cuss word, but I would say it anyway. Can I cuss? Does this shit count? With everything that we're going through, everything in the budget, that sort of puts all this other shit in perspective. Okay. Where's that? Let's do budget workshop. That way, Mr. Baker, you can go ahead and come up.
You ready for me?
Yes, sir.
I have no cookies,
You wanna take
so,
and get.
but I can get them. If you don't, I'm taking liberty, I'm not gonna be grand very fast. Just doing some bullet points, I could just read this, but it would take too long, you guys work way too fast for me, so, which is good.
Should give you a couple pages.
No, there's two, I just get my fingers in. Have you?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Did you get a copy?
No, sir. Appreciate it.
So,
The reason I asked him to wait, he had signed an open records, or not open, business comments. I put in the budget, there's a dollar amount for the Madison. Madison, I think, of the Government Affairs.
Madison Government Affairs, yes.
Yes, sir. And, I thought about when I filed the budget to take it out, didn't think it was right. I thought it, needed to be the court's decision, so I left it in, even though it was gonna come back for the court anyway. And that's up to Mr. Baker, if you wanna go ahead and the reason you're speaking is because I made comments 2 weeks ago that I was gonna present it to the court to take it out.
And it should be thought of, and and I only had 3, I passed that out, so I don't have to read it. I mean, most of it, this is like preacher required, so you know what the object is, you know what Madison does. But they are an asset, and they're our eyes and ears to us, and my only ask, last time I talked about this, is if we don't have Madison, we should have somebody. So it really doesn't make, I don't have anything for or against Madison, other than the fact that they're our guy right now. So I'd like to keep them. They're doing a good job, nobody's doing it for us, and it's a big engine, so that's all I wanted to say, and hopefully I've got enough points to help out. Thank you.
And I completely agree that if.
Can I talk about evaluations too?
Sure.
It's okay.
In to his comment, I do agree that we need somebody, and y'all know what I think about Madison. I'm not gonna get into it, but I do believe that, the $5,000 that is in here would be better spent, in my opinion, for somebody else. And again, it's just my
I
opinion.
don't disagree with that at all. I think it's a lot of money. It's an easy target. Because it's so abstract.
And again, it's up to the court. You can, a couple of things that we can do. You can leave it alone, leave it the way it is. The city did take action that if we did not fund it, they would fund all, the 45 that we pay or whatever is half, so they would fund all of it. I do think that we need to go out and look for another company to.
I think it'd be prudent. I mean, just keep them honest.
And I don't, I don't like being pushed in a corner. Not by y'all, but I'm gonna tell y'all, I don't like being pushed in a corner. I was elected, to hopefully make the best decisions on the information that I've been presented and what I'm looking at. You know, in my opinion, to be held at sort of gunpoint that if you don't hire me, I'm not gonna work on an October deal because our contract's up end of this fiscal year.
Yeah.
But I had a bunch more to say, but, with what we just did, the item before this, like I said, it sort of puts stuff into perspective. Whatever y'all wanna do, we'll have a motion and then we'll go.
And I'm not opposed to any shopping for anybody else. I mean, we just need representation right now that this is the company we have.
Judge, can we leave it alone for right now and, down the road, maybe, look into taking a different direction
Well,
as to, maybe hiring somebody else?
my biggest concern is that we're gonna go into this for a full year with them, and I don't think at the end of the day, we're going to be happy. But I would entertain a motion or something to do something else other than keeping them a full year. I think that, you know, if y'all wanna pay for the first quarter or something and let the city do the full contract with them, but we pay the first quarter until we can begin the process of looking for somebody, and I'm gonna use your words, I think it'd be more prudent, to do something like that. But whatever y'all wanna do, again.
Judge, I agree with you. I think it's time for a change, but I do know we have a trip coming up, and I do know that it's important to have representation. My motion would be that we, negotiate with them on the contract through the end of the year, to finish out this trip, and in the meantime, create a committee between the city, the county, and the chamber to come up with the terms to go out for RFQs, to have a new firm in place by January, so that we can continue being represented in, Washington.
But I don't have an answer to that other than the fact that it's a little short on time. And so I would, wait, are you asking my opinion?
No.
Okay. Okay.
I have a
I'll leave it alone
motion.
then.
I have a
I'll
motion.
second that.
Okay. I have a motion by Commissioner Nettleton. I have a second. I'm gonna find something to write on real quick, folks, before I forget it.
And I do that, Mr. Baker, because I think it is time for a change. We've been at this a long time with this group. I've been sitting on this board for 20-something years. We've had this group for over 10.
Yeah.
I've seen them twice in my entire time. The first time we hired them, and the next time I saw them was last year when we were questioning the contract.
When I was throwing.
It's not the kind of representation that I think this community deserves. I honestly believe that there is a need for us to have somebody that represents Laughlin. There is no doubt in my mind that that is important. I have not seen, and granted, I don't get as involved as y'all do with all of these aspects, but I have not seen, since the court and the city are picking up the tab for this, I would expect them to at least be a little more engaged in what we're doing. I think there's some other opportunities out there to bring somebody in that maybe could better represent the direction that we need to go with Laughlin. I would never support not funding something that protects our interests. But I do think it is time for us to start looking at options. If for some reason we can't get there by January, then we can revisit this about what we do until we can get there. But my biggest issue when we first started this was this group was only gonna represent the city and the county and the chamber for Laughlin issues. Now all of a sudden they represent for everything. And I don't agree with the fact that if the city wants to hire consultants to go deal with the Second International Bridge, go do whatever they want to do. But this group should be dealing strictly with the issues that we have with expanding Laughlin and protecting our interests with Laughlin. And I would like to see this committee that's created between the city, the county, and the chamber to define those terms, that if the county wants to hire a lobbyist to go help them with something, it has to be independent. If the city wants to hire somebody, it has to be independent. And this group needs to just focus on the issues at hand, which is Laughlin Air Force Base, because that was the whole purpose of them being hired. And so I just think that it's time that we start looking for somebody that maybe can do more for us. We don't know that. I mean, we've been with this group for 10 years, I believe, 10 or 12, I don't know.
As long as you're behind somebody.
Yeah.
So,
Now, I do agree we need to fund this through the end of the year and get this trip out of the way. And if we can't negotiate that, then we'll have to revisit it. But leave the money in the budget for finding a fund. Yes.
We good?
We good. I had to say what I had to say.
Motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Before we open it up just to everybody, I have a couple of deals on, purchasing auto expense. I left the zero there. So I'm asking that we do the 4,500 for the purchasing. That was the same as last year.
That was for fuel and stuff.
It was, yeah, auto expense, anything having to do with it.
Motion to add the 4,500 under purchasing for auto expense.
Do I have a second? Second, Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye, anybody against? Okay, the county volunteer fire department, or the county fire department under volunteer to add, $20,000 to that. We are having, but hiring people, so it would give them an opportunity to.
To the overtime or to the
For the volunteer.
Contract?
Yes, sir, for the volunteers.
Motion to move it from 20 to 40.
Well, it's actually at 44, I think. Yeah.
What I show here is 20 for contract fire and overtime is 15.
Let me look at the back under labor.
Under the employee portion?
Yes, sir, under
Where the employees are in the back?
in the very,
Are you talking about?
You what? Huh?
Salaries
Let me get to it first, yeah, on the salaries.
free to do that.
I'm looking, Commissioner, I'm sorry. My bad.
It would be page 140.
144, yeah, where it says, part-time, there's a $44,000 deal there. I would like to increase it to $64,000.
Our motion is to increase that to 64,000.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? The food bank, we pay a dollar amount to the food bank of $18,000, which helps us bring in food and helps the Loaves and Fishes with their endeavors, also. I would like to add another line item. And it would be on page 24. So if we could add a line item there on page 24 for the food bank for a separate, funds to be given to the food bank of $20,000, just because of all the help that they've given us over the last 4 or 5 years. If y'all are okay with that.
Motion to approve, Judge?
I have a motion, second. I have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second, Commissioner Wardlaw, any discussion?
That will be under control of the court, or it's not going to Loaves and Fishes, it's under?
No, well, the 18,000 goes directly to the food bank, but for Loaves and Fishes and then other product. This one would just help with product that the court would need, or members of the court would need.
Good. You want to add another line?
No, ma'am, yes, ma'am, I need to add a line item, not make it part of the 18, but keep it, separate, yes, ma'am. That answers your question.
What would you want to name it?
Valverde County, contribution to the food bank. It would be separate. And if y'all want me to come up with something shorter than that, I'd be okay with it, because y'all both made faces. Commissioner Flores made a motion, Commissioner Vasquez gave the second, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Under capital expenditures, let's find that first. Under capital expenditures is page 34 in your budget. You're gonna see a line item there of, on the veterans office and furniture and van. The van, this court already took action with the van, and we're going through that process. So there is a line item there for $65,000 for veterans office furniture and van. If we can take $60,000 out of that line item and only leave a $5,000 for veterans office for furniture.
Motion to remove 6015.
I'll second that page.
Commissioner Nettleton, Vasquez is second. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against?
That's, county clerk scanners and shelves, 15,000. I thought we already bought that. Did you get that yet? Or no?
Got the scanners, the shelves I don't have yet. And we returned 3 of the scanners.
And you can't get that out of one of your special funds? If they're for records.
We can look at, we have record archives and some other funds that we can look at and bring it back to next commissioner's court. Mhm.
Can you look at that, please?
Yeah. The animal control, there's another line item up there on animal control trailer. That one there, the court's already taken action on that one. So if we can just take that one completely out.
Motion to remove the 10,300 from animal control.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Parks Department, we'd set aside $106,790 in Parks Department because they wanted a truck and a new tractor. We've already done the truck this year. So, but they need a new tractor, and the tractor that we had bought the last time, I think, was 70 some odd thousand. I put in there $76,790. That would cover a new tractor.
Motion.
Okay. I have a motion to leave to take out the 30, and leave the 76,790 by Commissioner Wardlaw. Second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Also, we've taken stuff out. Now here's where we go to add stuff back.
Hold on.
Sir.
District clerk, you have scanner monitors. Can we not take that out of special funds? Or at least look at it?
We can. Mm-hmm. You want to take both district and county
Yes.
To take a look at both of them for the next meeting.
Yes.
Yeah, we can do that.
And then why do we have new computers and then technology? What is technology? 5,300.
There was need to get with RAM where I can run back to my notes, but there was another thing that came in on his building in order to set it up.
The 96 is
This is our annual replacement or refurbish and everything.
225,000 for windows. That's to replace all the windows.
Well, at the 83rd, 63rd, the windows are whistling when the wind blows, and we got getting a lot of dirt in.
No, I understand, but is it every window?
It's to replace all the windows, and they've asked for some different items inside to be replaced.
Under enterprise, Judge, C-25,
That's for the sheriff's office.
the lease of those vehicles.
Yes, sir. And we've had a hard time the last since we started this, trying to get everything, because like when we started, it wasn't COVID, it was, and everybody, it seems like we still have a COVID hangover. They keep blaming COVID. We can get the cars, but we can't get it outfitted, and when we have the outfit, I guess, the lights, the sirens and everything else for it, then we can't get the cars. So that's what we've had an issue with. On stuff to add, and then we can go back, on stuff to add, after we've taken all this out, purchasing, we've already built a new building for her. We set aside money for that, but we didn't set anything aside for the pallet jack, shelving, and stuff like that. So I would ask that we set aside $45,000 for a pallet jack, and it's either gonna be an electric one or a propane one. If we go the electric, then there'll have to be some concrete poured outside in order to make sure that they can get in and out. If we go
Talking
with
about a forklift or a pallet?
It'll be either a pallet jack or a forklift.
45 seems high for a pallet.
Well, pallet jack is 18. The electric motorized pallet jack is 18. And then if you go that route, you're gonna have to go in and, concrete outside wherever they deliver it, because what's there, they're not gonna be able to use a pallet jack. So, forklift, a Viper 2023 with a 5,500 pound lifting capacity, a new one was 28,000. So between the 28,000, the shelving and everything, the number we came up was 45, and they've got enough money either to go electric, concrete, or do a forklift, propane. Are y'all okay with the 45?
Motion to add 45 for purchaser.
Okay. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. I have two other items. Well, I have a couple items. Precinct 2, Precinct 4, water tanks for fire protection outside of the city limits. I think one of them's going to Dolan and the other one would go somewhere. Where's it going?
Langtree.
Langtree. Okay. Dolan Road and Langtree. So $12,000, I think that's what you purchased the last tank for. So to set aside $12,000.
Motion to add 24 for fire protection tanks in precinct 2 and 4.
Okay. Second. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. When you do all those numbers with what we took out, went back, we're about $31,000 better than we were when we started right now. The other deal is, this is yours. We had, last year, the year before, we'd hired out.
Unknown caller.
Sorry, that's HEB, my medicine's ready.
You needed it before or after?
We had talked. I took my Xanax. We had talked the year before last, and we went to go hire outside counsel. Or not outside counsel, but hire another attorney.
Right.
And then we have an account called pretrial under the county attorney's office. But I would like to move $86,000 out of pretrial, and we could justify it by the amount of hours that we spent over the last 3 years or 4 years with pretrial, and reimburse ourselves and put that money back into the general fund. And that amount would be $86,000. That account does have $163,000.
I don't have a problem with that, Judge.
Motion to move 86,000 out of pretrial into general fund.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. There was a question on election fund, and I think I handed you that paperwork yesterday. It's the same $75,000 that we've had in there year after year. Are we going to be okay with that for now?
Yes, sir.
And if you need more money, absolutely need more money, and we don't have a special account to get it out of, we can always come back.
Next year's gotta be crazy from everything I hear.
You have 2 elections to handle in this upcoming budget, November and then the March primary, which should be reimbursed, the March primary.
Not all of it is reimbursed.
But the $75,000
And
would
then you got a runoff election.
Maybe.
No, you will.
I don't want to say anything.
So the $75,000, you'll be fine with what is already in the budget, so no action needs to be taken. I'm just bringing it to the court's attention. The other thing, in here, we'd asked, we were watching the city council tonight, and I don't do that often, but watching it the other night, and the Whitehead Museum, was up there and they were asking for funds. Not throwing rocks at council, I'm just pointing it out to the members of the court. I know y'all have seen it, but under Whitehead Museum, they usually had $65,000, and they've had that amount that has been budgeted for them on page 24. You know, over several years, they did ask for more money, and this is already in the budget. No action needs to be taken, just bringing it to y'all's attention. That $65,000 in this year's budget went to $77,000. So they asked for more money, and it's in the budget. The other items also,
Why are we funding historical commission? I don't know, we did fund it last year. We didn't fund it in 2022?
no, because they didn't have a committee, so we had not funded them. They have a committee, and they're part of us. But the reason they were not funded was because they did not have a committee or no representation. The monies, we have a 2016 tax note that there's hardly just pennies in that one. We have a 2019 tax note that has some funds in it. We have a 2021 tax note and a 2021 certificate of obligation. And then we have ARPA money, there was a $250,000 set aside for the precincts, and then there was another $500,000 set aside. And then we also have FEMA money. So those funds, and they're in the budget, but I had questions as to how that would work. So those funds will be automatically rolled over with whatever the balance is at the end of our fiscal year. I know that we'd spent some money. I think you'd spent some money out of FEMA. His dollars, I'm not picking on you, just because he just wanted to look at. His dollars with what is in the budget, the number reflects the amount before, we had taken action, I think 2 meetings ago, for him to go buy some equipment or something with FEMA money. So as long as we make sure that whatever the balance is as of the end of our fiscal year, that those funds get rolled over, whether it be precinct 1, 2, 3, or 4. But we have so many accounts that we've pulled from for the road crews that I just want to be clear that money gets rolled over. It's reflected in the budget, but there was a question if we can just make sure.
Judge, that includes, everything that's out there.
What?
Is to,
Any funds, I looked, you have money. We've done a 2019 tax note that there's still some money there. I don't think, any one of the members of the court has funds there. Okay, I don't think there's money left. There was some money still left there for administration or something. We have a 2019 that there was still a little bit of funds there, in that tax note. I mean, 2016, 2019. 2021, we had a tax note that everybody had gotten $500,000. Each member of the court, each commissioner has received $500,000. That money, some of y'all still have some accounts there, some funds in it, very little. So there's another one in 2021, certificate of obligation, that I think there was $427,000 per member of the, per commissioner. And then there was, out of that one, there was also $387,000 set aside for Senegus Road. So those funds, whatever have not been spent out of those accounts, they need to be moved over. And I saw it. He'd asked the question, I just want to be perfectly clear that they are moved over. So the extra funds that the members of the court received in September, October, there was a $250,000, 2019. There was $500,000 out of a 2021 tax note. Then there was $27,000 out of a 2021 certificate of obligation. And then there was $250,000 for parks set out of ARPA. And then there was another $500,000 per precinct set up out of ARPA for the precincts for special projects. So those totals should have totaled, I think, $1,927,000 per precinct. Whatever was left in those accounts, those special accounts, need to be rolled over, whatever the balance is. There was a dollar amount for FEMA in precinct 2, precinct 3, and precinct 4 that are reflected in our budget. But those numbers, I think, are a little high because some of the funds that we've taken out because of Commissioner Court's meeting, we just need to make sure that whatever we've taken out is taken out.
There will be a budget.
Okay, that clarified.
Yeah, but just, if I can rest a little easier here, any remaining money on any special accounts within the precincts 1 of 4 to be rolled over to the next year.
In the special accounts.
Any special accounts.
Capital project.
We are gonna talk about the other monies, right?
We are. Can I have a motion on that? That way we're clear.
I'll make a motion on that.
I have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second, Commissioner Wardlow. All those in favor? Aye. Commissioner Flores, do you have comments?
Yes, on the remaining money, concerning, operating, and, I guess the main one would be operating, if there's any, remaining money this fiscal year to be rolled over to the next fiscal year.
For everybody?
No, just the precincts.
Okay, let's do this. Is that a motion? And then we'll have a discussion. Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second, Judge.
Okay. I have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second, Commissioner Vasquez. When you look,
How does that affect our beginning cash balance
well,
and our unrestricted reserve?
to be real clear, whatever funds that we roll over for anybody, whether it be precincts or any other department, that money will come, if you look on page 1, that money will come out of our ending fund balance. Our ending fund balance will be lowered. I don't think it's right that we roll this money over. Y'all have received $1,900,000 in either $24,000 or $27,000 in 3 years. In 3 years and 6 months, which is more money than any commissioner in the history of Alvarado County has ever received within that time of in that short time span, ever. We borrowed, we're fixing to borrow $6.5 million for a road, $2 million for a sports complex, $1.5 million on a shooting range. Again, the court can take action. And if y'all are out there as elected officials, I would be coming in to get y'all's funds rolled over too. Again, I don't think it's fair. And the reason that here in a minute that you're fixing to hear the numbers that we got for our interest rates is because we've done a really good job taking care of our funds. I don't think that this is the way to go. Just because we can, I don't think we should. But I have a motion. Any other comments? Again, I came with a whole list of stuff as to what amount of money that y'all have received in the last 4 years and change. I will tell y'all that when we came in 2019 to now, we have percentages because I tried to adjust it by roads, but your budget, you have a 69% increase from 2019 to today's budget. You had a 20% increase, you had a 19% increase, and Commissioner, you almost had a 100% increase from 2019 to today's budget. If y'all want to go over paving numbers, y'all are not going to be happy with this. I've heard that because of COVID, we've not been able to buy material, and we can't get it, so I took 2019 numbers. Commissioner Wardlaw, you had $9,322 budgeted for paving in 2018-2019 fiscal year. You spent $8,078.18, 87% of your money. Commissioner Vasquez, you had $153,636 budgeted for paving. You spent $10,282. You spent you spent 0.067%. Commissioner Nettleton, you had $163,055 in your budget. You spent $86,268. Commissioner Flores, you had $93,260 in your budget. You spent $51. So if you go back miles per road, Commissioner Wardlaw, you've spent $254.19 for every mile of road that you have. Commissioner Vasquez, you spent $123.88 for every mile of road that you have. Commissioner Nettleton, you spent $842.95 for every mile that you have. Commissioner Flores, you spent $310.70. The amount of money that has been given to each member of the court as a commissioner is unreal. Again, y'all can vote, doesn't matter, but I do need to say what I need to say. If you look at the other numbers, we have had to move our tax rate. If in the budget that I filed, Matt threw a hissing fit because my tax rate was 0.0495. So we couldn't do that and leave that. We had to lower it to 0.01 something, 17 something. And the reason we had to do that is because everything else that y'all do does not fall in line. And on y'all's defense or behalf, y'all do a hell of a lot more than has ever been done. I get it. But when I have to adjust the tax rate to where the amount of money that I collect from road and bridge tax is not more than what you're using for road and bridge because it's illegal, there's something wrong with that picture. So our tax rate, and it's not going to help y'all any, just y'all are still going to get charged the 0.4977. Okay. But I'm adjusting the tax rate within general fund, which is legal. Say that. But I have to adjust the tax rate between general fund and road and bridge in order to make everything else work. And when you look at the amount of money that we're not using on road and bridge, and now we're asking to roll over money that's going to affect our bottom line. The reason that we have been able to get a 4.4% interest rate on a $10 million loan for 7 years, or on a $4.3 million loan and a $3.9 million loan get 1.7 or 1.3 over the life of the loan is because we've done such a good job. Now, I've thrown rocks, but then I'm going to tell y'all what y'all have done. This court, not me, this court has gone from and this is where y'all are probably going to get pissed back there. This court has gone from $3,031,751 in fund balance to $4,477,887 in fund balance. A difference of $1,443,136 in fund balance. And Mr. Henderson, when he says our budget always goes up, it does. Our budget's always gone up every year. So I have to have my fund balance keep up, my unrestricted fund balance keep up with my expenditures. Because if I don't, then I'm not eligible for the loans, I'm not eligible for the grants, because our credit rating drops. So both of them, and I had this conversation with my wife. She says, well, I think that's a lot of money, for you to go up in fund balance. But I have to. And it proves that this court has really done a really good job in taking care of y'all's money. We lowered the tax rate. Didn't lower your tax payment because it went up. We lowered the tax rate in the 4 years and change. This court has done that. We've gone from 63 days, 64 days, to 75 days of unrestricted, money compared to our budget. We've done an excellent job. And I know I was long-winded, but I just really, it just to me does not make sense.
I've got a question.
Yes, sir.
Just break down, as you go to numbers, why this would affect the fund balance of us moving this little money.
I know, and I can do that, Commissioner.
It's little money.
No. Whatever money we move, because in order to come up with a beginning fund balance, because we're just guessing, okay? We're guessing at the numbers, and I hate saying that, but it is. It's a guess. Matt goes through and he looks at all of y'all go through. I shouldn't just say Matt, but the auditor's office goes through, and you look at the history of what everybody's done, every account, every department, what you do. And then you get a history of the amount of spending that you're doing for the months previous. So you work on a percentage to come up with what you anticipate your fund balance would be. Me and Matt have discussions over that, have arguments, because my numbers, you never can tell. Mine either higher or lower, but you have to come up with a number. So any number that we project that we're going to have, because of the rate that y'all have been spending funds, if you go out here and spend all the funds and don't leave something in there, then that number, Commissioner, it will come off of, and I could say, well, at the top, we start at the top, but at the end of the day, whatever number, and it doesn't matter whether it's $15,000, $20,000, $30,000, if you times it times 4, 100,000, then my bottom dollar, the $4.4 million, it will come down. But not just because my beginning fund balance is not what we projected. But and I know that it seemed like I'm pissed or getting mad. I'm not, because this court, y'all have done an amazing job. We borrowed, I don't know why I'm crying. We borrowed $6 million in 2019, right? We did 2 notes in order to fund this. Then we borrowed a 2019 tax note, a couple million. We borrowed another 3.9. We borrowed another 4.3. Right now we're borrowing another 10 million. This Commissioner's Court, other than SO 79, which was not going to be paid back by tax dollars, but through pass-through money, never happened. We've never, ever borrowed this damn much money. And we damn sure never borrowed this much money and been able to pay it back. We borrowed a $1.7 million, Commissioner, this court borrowed a $1.7 million because it was taxable. And we had to do that when we split the money with the SE Ranch, how we were going to borrow it, at 4.25% interest rate. A year and a half later, we paid it off to go be able to borrow more money. This court did that. I mean, it's just, again, whatever y'all want to do, Commissioner.
I just hate for you to break down and be sad like this. So I will rescind my motion, so it won't affect your fund balance.
Okay, it's Commissioner.
Not his fund balance, it's the court's fund balance and the taxpayer's fund balance.
Yes, sir.
And I will, before I don't want to get an argument. I think we've done really good. And I will tell y'all right now, that I really, really, really do appreciate that, Commissioner Flores, Commissioner Vasquez. I really do appreciate that. I have a bad habit of going to the extreme or going from 0 to 180, but I will tell y'all that I appreciate this. I really do. I'm not gonna say from the bottom of my heart because I'll start crying, but I do. I'm gonna apologize.
Judge, for the record, what amount were we talking about?
Sir, I have no idea. I had not looked it up.
$900.
I don't know, Commissioner. In all seriousness, I don't know. I really don't. But I will tell y'all that I appreciate y'all withdrawing that. I think it sends the right message. If y'all have voted for it, we still move on. I do think that we've been capable of going on, even after we've had our spats, and I've had to apologize for what I say. Or not for what I said. What was the deal? Commissioner? I apologize for the way I said it.
I'm gonna apologize, not for what I said, but how I said it. You're not apologizing at all.
Well,
And
again,
just for the record, Judge, I know the fund balance, it's a county fund balance.
yes, sir.
So I just heard some remarks from Commissioner Nettleton. I mean, it'll
Again,
take a
I wanna-
rocket scientist to figure that out, but it was just a joke, you know,
I
that I was making.
I get it. And I'm gonna tell y'all right now that I really and truly, appreciate this. Again, I don't know what to say, Commissioners. I really do appreciate it. That's all I had. Do y'all have anything else, or anybody else have anything else on the budget workshop? I will tell y'all that in 2 weeks, we will do this all over again. But do y'all have anything else today? All right, let me get back to where the hell I was at. We've already taken action in the budget workshop. Okay. Item 12. Set salaries for elected officials. Y'all were given a copy. I lost mine. But y'all were given a copy of the elected official salary. It's the same salaries that were posted. I need action to see if y'all want to move forward with what was posted. And I did not get any grievances at all. Didn't get no phone calls from elected officials. We didn't get nothing. So.
Motion to approve, she said so. I've got a question. Judge.
Okay.
On the salaries,
Go ahead.
there was 4% increase.
The salaries were, I lost mine. The salaries, Commissioner, were 4% for, everyone except the elected officials. The elected officials received 3.5%, and then some of them, I gave it to them, what you call it? And then some of them, I mean, I'm sorry, Karen. Yeah, I'm sorry. 4%, what we gave was 4% to all employees, 3.5% to elected officials. We did do another raise for, patrol deputies, anybody that writes tickets, for the simple reason SB 22, did I get that one right? Yes, sir. SB 22 mandated that they go to 45,000, so some of the deputies received more funds than just the 4% raise. Hopefully, we'll be able to go back and ask right after the first of the year for reimbursement for the difference between the 4% and whatever the 45,000, whatever it took them to get to 45,000. But there was also some auto allowances that were increased. There were some auto allowances that were not in the budget that were put in the budget. But there was funds taken out of their, those departments. There was funds that were taken out of their travel and training to help with half of that, which I can go over, which was the JPs. The JPs, I'm sorry. The JPs have $1,000 allowance, car allowance, car allowance. They never did have one, but I did take $500 out of their travel and training, and then I took $500 out of general fund money to do that, which amounted to $1,000 that they've never had. The constables, I did kick them up some funds in order to get them to $10,000. I ended up at $8,000 for an auto allowance, and then the commissioners ended up at $11,500, which was a little bit of a jump from what y'all had last year. So, I hope that answered your question. We ended up with 3.5% raise.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Just a quick statement, regarding elected official, salaries. I'm not offended if there were a raise. The reason being, if folks are considering running for office, likely they'll have to leave their job, potentially to be some of these positions. So that could actually be a barrier for folks running for office if the salary was not well compensated.
And I can tell you, I don't know how council members and or school board members do it for 100 or whatever the hell y'all get paid, per meeting. What do you get paid a meeting, 100?
Just 100 a meeting.
100 a meeting?
And they're just 2 meetings.
A month.
We don't get paid for special meetings.
So again, I don't know how you run for those offices, and still have to deal with every time you go to H-E-B, to Walmart, the phone calls all day long in the afternoon. You know, we were laughing the other day that, you know, I quit going to H-E-B and Walmart, you know, unless it's real late. You know, my wife goes in to pick up my pills, and I sit outside in the car, you know, but I appreciate you saying, and I really do, thank you. They can go put that bridge somewhere else, I don't care, we're gonna move. I'm sorry.
Seems like it's a hell of a roller coaster here.
I need a motion to set.
I made a motion.
Did you?
Yes, you did.
You don't have a second, but.
Okay. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, do I have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. I've already done a lot of the stuff on the next page. Well, you're up. Item 23, discussion possible action on an order authorizing the issuance of the county's tax note series 2023 an approximate amount of $10 million for financing public works county-owned parks levy on an annual ad valorem tax for the payment of notes and other matters in connection therewith. That's one of y'all's words, right? Therewith. I'll get it, Mr. Gonzalez. Don't you move.
Well, good morning, Judge, Commissioners. For the record, David Gonzalez with PFM Financial Advisors. I have a short presentation for you today. As the judge mentioned earlier, we got some good news from several of the banks, and what we have here before you today is the winning bid and the lowest interest rate. As you all remember, about a month ago, we were here in front of Commissioner's Court. You all voted to authorize us to go ahead and start negotiating with some banks, begin those types of discussions. We went ahead and prepared a term sheet. We delivered it to banks across the country, national banks, regional banks, local banks in Del Rio, local banks in Uvalde, local banks in San Antonio. And what we have here is basically the results of that term sheet. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started. If you look at page number 2, we have here the issuer, of course, Val Verde County. We have your financial advisor, your bond counsel, your placement agent, and the purchaser, Webster Bank. If you turn over to the next page, here on page number 3, here we have a result of all the bids that were submitted to purchase Val Verde County paper. So if you look at the very top, Webster Bank came in with the winning bid at a 4.43%. That's a very, very good interest rate. We got to speak to the banks, and they basically said the county has a very strong bond rating. At this point, they have strong liquidity. They have a strong financial management. They have very conservative debt burden. They don't have much of a burden, and they're in an overall healthy financial position, right? So the ratings have a lot to do. Right now, the county's bond ratings have a lot to do with why the interest rates came in so favorable. So kudos to the court and to the county and everybody at Val Verde for these interest rates. If you turn over, and then on that same page, so the other interest rates you received were from Amegy Bank. They came in at a 4.67, and then Texas Community Bank at a 4.75. If you look at the winning bid from Webster Bank, those bonds are callable in 8/15/2027. That means in 4 years you can refinance them if interest rates are lower. You can refinance them in 4 years at a lower interest rate, or you can even pay them off early, beginning in 2027. So those are pretty favorable call features as well on these tax notes. If you turn over to page number 4, here the title is Summary of Financing. We have the delivery date. So today, if Commissioner's Court takes a motion on this and moves forward, we will work with your bond counsel and your staff to close on this tax note on September the 20th, 2023. At that point, the money will be, the funds will be wired to the county's accounts to begin work on the projects. The par amount on this tax note is $10 million. The project fund is $9,915,000. Cost of issuance, $85,000. The true interest cost on this is a 4.43%. The average annual payment to Val Verde County is $1,684,027. The total debt service, principal, and interest on this is $11,788,194. If you jump over to page number 5 here, as I mentioned today, the court decides to move forward with this financing. We'll work with your bond counsel, Attorney General's office to get this closed over the next 30 days. So we're here on August the 29th, Commissioners Court, and if the court moves forward, we'll close on this on September 28th, and that's the day that the county receives the funds and you can begin work on your project. So with that, it's a strong interest rate. We've had a lot of other county financing, city financing that have been pricing over the last couple of weeks. These are very strong rates compared to what we've been seeing in the market, so congratulations on that. And I'm happy to answer any questions y'all have with respect to this presentation.
I don't have any. Do y'all at the court have any concerns?
Motion to approve.
Second. Does there have to be special language that we have to do in order for this motion to be approved?
No.
We're good.
You're good.
Because usually y'all send us a deal.
Right. Bond counsel would have, if there was anything special, bond counsel would have already sent that to you, Judge.
You don't have to award the bid to Webster Bank. I mean, it's automatically in. Right. Or
I'll amend my motion to approve it and award the bid to Webster Bank.
second, sir.
Yeah, I mean.
That covers it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. And we really do appreciate it. Thank you.
No.
Thank you for coming down and spending time with us, and really do appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Judge, Commissioner.
Item 24, discussion possible action to accept a $500 donation for 2023 Back to School event from Middle Rio Grande Development Council and approve an account in which to deposit funds. There was also a question because we received a $500 a couple years ago also, and we were trying to figure out what account that went into. There were still some questions on that, on that account. So I guess I will look at you, Rosa. Where would be a good account to put this $500 in order for the court to come back and we need to figure out a way legally that we can go ahead and use these funds for a back-to-school event. So if y'all will look at that, because I know our hands are tied a little bit.
Judge,
Yes, sir.
I guess we would have to create a new line item for that under Rio Grande.
What would be the best way to do that? Because of your accounting, how would you, what would make you happy?
We usually put it in the grant funds in the revenue accounts, and then wherever you want it to go to after that. 'Cause we gotta-
So if we put it in the grant funds today, and in 2 weeks we'll put it back on the agenda, that way the court can decide where we're gonna, how we're gonna expend it. That work? Motion.
Motion.
Motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 25, discussion possible action on using hot tax funds for International Good Neighbor Council Parade in the amount of $10,000. There's actually a deal in your packet showing exactly what the funds would be used for. We've never participated with this event as far as funds. I think it's a good event and would bring people into our community. I know that Eagle Pass has already looked and put in a float. Second. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0.
On that.
You have the hot tax. I think there was $114,000 in
No,
one.
we know that, but we're gonna need a,
And I have the budget in my packet, and I will hand that to you as soon as we leave. Is Julissa still here? Yeah. Can you get that to them, if you don't mind? We were just waiting for approval before we got it to you. All right. And I will tell y'all that we probably need to come back with some hot tax. People keep asking. Y'all's presentation and what's in the package was detailed. And I know that y'all do everything you can to get something detailed, but businesses that are not 501c3s, I think it would be nice to get an accounting of what they're doing. And I guess my question to you would be, would that be legal to ask for part of that process?
Absolutely.
To see not only what they're doing with the funds, but to see what they made. Right, I mean, because we're spending funds on some of these groups that they might not need the money as much as everybody else does, just trying to survive. Right. So,
Judge, and another thing, alongside the budget, I'm gonna need an invoice to pay from.
okay, and we'll make sure that we get that. I'll work, Lisa will get with y'all to show you what we've done in the past, that way y'all can get us something. Sure. Okay? Item 26, discussion possible action on dissolving Val Verde Transportation Committee. We looked up the order. The court order is 11-2085. It was a committee that was put together. I do think with everything that's going on, and since they haven't met, it would be to our best interest to dissolve court order or rescind court order 11-2085.
Motion to approve. Second.
I have a motion, Commissioner Vasquez, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 26, discussion possible action on the Second International Bridge. I put this on, we already received the letter, didn't know if we had any more updates on council, but just in the, to be transparent, if we're gonna talk about it, might well talk about it in open court. So have we looked at council? I know that you had said you were picking.
Right. Yeah, we've not.
Not yet.
We've not received anything yet, right.
Okay, but we have reached out.
Right.
Okay. Did y'all hear that? Our attorneys, county attorneys, were burdened with the task of looking for outside counsel. They have already contacted them, but are working on this outside.
They're doing a conflicts check right now, so once we hear that, then we'll be good to go.
Okay. Y'all hear that? Because I didn't hear nothing, so. It was a what?
A conflicts check.
Okay, a conflict check. That work? And again, I put this on the agenda, that way, whatever you're hearing, we're hearing. Whatever we're hearing, you're hearing, whatever you're hearing, we're hearing. That work? Okay. Any other, comments on the Second International Bridge? None. All right, item 28, discussion possible action to approve the Brown Plaza Association to use the county stage and labor for the setup. Event will take.
Second.
Motion, Commissioner Middleton, second, Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 29, discussion possible action on requesting use of county courthouse lawn for the inaugural motion, Commissioner Vasquez, second, Commissioner Middleton. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. 30, we've already done. 31, discussion possible action on rescinding court order 23-706 on the ARPA money. This was a court order from last meeting. Y'all want to talk about it? What are we doing?
Motion table.
Second.
I have a motion to table, Commissioner Middleton, second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. I get 32 falls on the table. A motion, Commissioner Middleton, second.
Second, Judge.
Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Write those down. So don't forget them. Item 33, discussion possible action to approve amendment 1/2022 Texas CDBG Colonial Fund Planning and Needs Assessment. He left.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion, Commissioner Middleton, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Yes, sir. Come on up. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry, I just kept talking. Your item, Sheriff?
Yes, sir, it's item 56, I believe. No, I'm sorry.
52?
52.
All right. Item 52, discussion possible action regarding memorandum of understanding between Texas Commission on Law Enforcement and Val Verde County Sheriff's Office, a school marshal training program. Commissioner Middleton made a motion, Commissioner Vasquez second. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
With the attendance. Item 34, discussion possible action on approval for Val Verde County to enter into an agreement with AEP to install.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion, Commissioner Middleton, second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 35, discussion possible action on the issuance of county credit card for county.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion, Commissioner Flores, second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 36, discussion possible action to approve the payment of invoice number 1 in the amount of $38,116.85 to Richard Zamora.
Motion to approve, Judge.
Second. Motion, Commissioner Flores, second, Commissioner Nettleton. Real quick, I know that Commissioner Flores, he was gonna present you and bring back to the court, I think, some areas for the drainage.
Yes, a final route or drawing, yes.
That'll work. Thank you. I have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second, Commissioner Nettleton. All those in favor? Aye. Nobody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 37, Judge, you're here. Discussion possible action to authorize Valverde County Court of Law, DWI Drug Specialty Court, to accept from the Office of the Governor grant number 3527806 award.
Second.
On the motion, Commissioner Vasquez, second, Commissioner Nettleton. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 38, discussion possible action to authorize Valverde County Court of Law. I have a motion, Commissioner Vasquez, second. Commissioner Flores?
Yes, sir.
That's all right. I didn't hear anybody. So we need to. Commissioner Vasquez made a motion. Commissioner Vasquez made a motion. Commissioner Flores seconded it. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Did a good job, Judge. Appreciate it.
Just want y'all to know that, Suzanne West is working on all the juvenile cases now. And so she's on board, and she visited with us at the specialty courts, and I provided, Mr. Martinez, the county attorney, with the, awards. The only thing I'm missing on the exact amount on the awards I'm receiving from the juvenile mental health court. Out of $817,000 that I asked for, 500 and something is all mental health related at the facility in Shoreline, close to Corpus Christi. So it's expensive, so I'm waiting to see how much exactly they're gonna give me for the mental health.
So Ms. West is gonna help with this?
Yes, she's on board, yes, sir.
I guess it after we bought her a brand new building, right?
Oh, you did?
Just throw it out.
Oh, you did? You did, okay. So, and most recently, you've known what's happening in Del Rio, the schools and all that, since some of these are juveniles, and so.
I'm glad to see us.
Some big issues. Yeah, I just wanted to thank the court for its support, and, we'll continue to work with the court and with the county attorney and with the district attorney, and any questions, doors always open. You go on back in court, we'll come back and answer any and all your questions. We're always there. Thank you so much. And I want to thank the auditor's office also for always keeping track of everything that we do. And Debbie and Carl Lesser as well. So thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Judge. Item 39, discussion possible action on order of special election to be held on November 7th, 2023 in Valverde County, Texas, for the purpose of voting in a special election to adopt or reject the proposed constitutional amendments as submitted by the 88th legislature. And they are, sir?
Move.
Second.
On motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 40, discussion possible action on joint airport zoning board meetings and replacement of Mr. Tom Garcia. I put this on the agenda. I spoke with the city yesterday. The city's always been the one that has published the meetings and taken care of the agenda and everything. What I would like, I think it's our turn to step up, the county, and the county needs to step up and go ahead and move forward, and we need to do this. I think the city's done it long enough, not throwing rocks at the city. They've not done anything wrong. They're okay by keeping it, but I just think that they've done it long enough, and we need to step up, and especially since the majority of the land lies outside of the city.
Who do you want to appoint?
Well, I don't know who we'd appoint. I think first step is if y'all will be okay in us in the county doing it and run it under Carlos and Joanna, especially since Joanna already does our Amistad zoning, so she's capable of that. I don't know who we'd appoint. I mean, if y'all have a member, or if y'all want to, we can table it. If y'all want to think about it, come back after executive. I don't care. But we do need to appoint a member if possible. Or I can bring it back in 2 weeks.
Can we appoint Carlos?
I am
Carlos is
aware.
already on. Oh, you're already on. Okay.
Motion to table, Judge, and then we'll
Bring it back. Thank you, sir. Motion, Commissioner Vasquez, second.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Wardlaw, Commissioner Nettleton, and Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries. Item 41, discussion possible action on letter received from Texas Commission on Environmental Quality for Valverde County Order adopting rules for, go ahead. What do you got?
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioner. We already received clearance from TCQ to start adopting our rules for the 600-acre rules, requiring permit for tracts up to 640 acres. So I just wanted to present this. We need to do some things that we need to file with the county clerk after you proceed with this order.
So we need a motion to approve the order?
Yes.
Motion to approve the order.
Second.
Motion, Commissioner
I've got a
Nettleton.
question. This order, what will it, require from those property owners?
Okay, so the changes that we're proposing now is in 2020. We have two changes, continuing having a aerobic system for Amistad area for tracts under 1 acre, and then requiring permits for septics on up to 640 acres. That's the difference.
And I had a little bit of heartburn with this when we did it, but the amount of stories and stuff that we're getting from people putting in septic systems, especially on some of this land that was subdivided, and they're putting it right next to a river or it just, and there's no, you know, the government, we always seem like more government's never better. But I do think in this case, and there's no way to just single that out, because of the amount of people that were putting in septic systems close to the rivers, close to lake, with
Water
no
aquifer,
regard.
I mean,
Sir?
you know, the water
Aquifers,
aquifer we
yes,
have
sir.
right here on the outskirts of,
Yeah.
town.
And this will help on some of these properties that are over 10 acres.
Mhm.
But there was no way to go say 15 acres. We had to get all of it, which is sad, but that's just the way it worked out. You need action from us?
Yes.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 4-0. For the record, Commissioner Nettleton stepped out. Item 42, discussion possible action to reactivate the county-wide burn ban for 3 months effective. A motion, Commissioner Vasquez, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 4-0. Item 43, discussion possible action to approve Alberta County Library's acceptance of a donation, $200 from Ed and Carmen Wise. A motion, Commissioner Vasquez, second Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 44, discussion possible action to allow Sheriff's Department to use of the Fairgrounds parking lot, large arena, area below grandstands and concession stands for the National Night Out event.
Motion.
Second. A motion, Commissioner Wardlaw, second Commissioner Flores, and Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 45, discussion possible action to allow Sheriff's Department to the use of the Fairgrounds parking lot for driving training starting December 4th to. A motion, Commissioner Vasquez. Second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 46, approving the lease between Valverde County and Veterans Day Border Bull on behalf of Carlos Ayala. A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. All those against? Motion carries 5-0. Jesus Christ. Item 47, discussion possible action to approve change order number 2 for Long Memorial Parks irrigation contract, $3,135.
Second.
Motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 48, discussion possible action to approve precinct 3 to utilize the remaining balance of $76,000 from SL79 to pay Las Brisas starting from SL79. If any more funds are needed.
Motion to approve, and we will take the remainder of our operating. This money was
I have a
set
motion
aside for this project only.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton. Second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 49, discussing possible action to authorize person named to solicit for competitive sealed bids for used day cabs 2017 or newer for precinct 4.
Motion to approve, Judge.
Commissioner Vasquez, second. Commissioner Flores. All those in favor, say aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 50, discuss and possible action for approval to declare the following items as surplus property and designate for property.
Second.
Motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 51, discuss and possible action for
Second.
and motion, Commissioner Vasquez, second Commissioner Nettleton. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. 52 was done. 53, closed session consultation pursuant to Texas Government Code A551.071.2, attorney-client privilege, B551.071.1, contemplated agency 551.072 regarding the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property or possible action open session thereafter, B551.073 regarding negotiated contract, lease, or value of real property and possible action session, E551.076 regarding security devices, security audits, and security personnel. If y'all will give us the room, we'll take a little 5-minute break, and then we will go into executive session.
What did I say about you? What was it that I said? So one shot.
Oh, we're on. All right, we tabled a couple of items, we're gonna go back to them. We tabled item 31, discussion possible action on rescinding court order number 23-706 on ARPA money.
Judge, I'll make a motion to rescind order number 23-706 on the ARPA money and bring it back at the next following meeting.
Okay, I have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second. Commissioner Wardlaw, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 4-1. Item 32, it was tabled. I don't think there's any reason to touch it till we can bring it back. Are y'all okay with that?
Yes, sir.
Item 40. We tabled it. Discussion possible action on joint airport zoning board meeting and replacement of Mr. Garcia. I'd like to have a motion for us to go through the process of all the meetings from now on, run them through Joanna, and Carlos, and then to bring back, an item to the agenda to appoint a replacement. Anybody have a motion?
I'll make a motion for that, sir.
All right, thank you, sir. Commissioner Vasquez made a motion, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries. Item 54, that was all of them, is that correct? Okay, that was all of them? Item 54, Commissioners' comments? None? Item 55, County Judge's comments, I have none, other than thank y'all so much, appreciate it. Y'all appreciate it, thank you. Item 56, meeting's adjourned, thank y'all.